What's up guys, Blitz here today bringing you another video. In today's video I want to talk about some more information about the Yuffie DLC as well as Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. We're all still dealing with the crazy adrenaline from that reveal as it was a pretty lackluster state of play, but the ending though, however, was full of crazy energy and hype, at least for Final Fantasy VII fans. But after the reveal of Remake Intergrade, the credits showed that it would be a free upgrade if you own the game already, but the wording specifically talked about PlayStation 5 receiving the upgrade and DLC, not the PlayStation 4. So a lot of people are confused and upset as to why they would alienate this release to only the PlayStation 5 console and leave the PlayStation 4 players hanging, especially with the PS5 inventory being non-existent. Well, I have a few answers, I think, that may be able to alleviate some of these questions, and I have something to say about the PC version for Intergrade, which I want to add to this as well. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this video. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade and Yuffie's DLC brought a lot of questions for the future when it comes to releasing on last gen. It turns out from Square Enix themselves, which was reported to IGN, that the Intergrade and Yuffie DLC are optimized to run on PlayStation 5 and therefore will not be showing up on PlayStation 4 or last generation. Anyone who has paid attention to the way that these developers talk knows that them saying that it's optimized to run on PS5 basically means it ran like shit on PS4 and therefore they did not want to release it on there. I know everyone is complaining that it's not coming to PS4, but I mean, how would you guys feel if it did come to PlayStation 4 and ran horribly? Think back to what happened with CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk releasing on last gen PS4 and Xbox. Yeah, that's something no company, let alone Square, wants to deal with and would rather avoid. And not to mention, as a content creator, I wouldn't want to put out something I made knowing it wasn't at its full potential and that people would complain or dislike it. Also, think about it. On the PlayStation 4, Remake did look great and it was locked to 30 frames per second. However, there were various textures being held back due to bugs, such as the infamous doors, the flowers, as well as the skyboxes. How in the world would they be able to optimize Intergrade to run on a base PS4 at 60 frames per second and updated graphics when the original Remake could not even achieve those thresholds on a PS4 Pro even? Taking into consideration that Remake had less than 3 years of development cycle as well. Because remember, they scrapped the 2015 project in 2017 when CyberConnect 2 was working on it. Then they began working on it in late 2017 themselves, and it was released in early 2020, which is less than 3 years. So granted, the game was limited in many ways, but it still was impressive with how beautiful it looked in terms of character models and aesthetics. They honestly tried everything to hide the lower quality aspects of the game. I mean, they skimped on many of the background textures in order to achieve this consistent look and gameplay for overall good experience, but knowing that information, it just would not be possible to have a definitive edition on the PlayStation 4 because the game's engine was poorly optimized for that hardware. Let's face it, more developers want to work on next gen due to the fact that it's easier to work with and less time is required for debugging. I know a lot of people are bringing up Spider-Man Miles Morales being on PS4 and PS5 simultaneously, but that game's base was technically created back in 2018 after being developed for 4 full years. Then there is, of course, it being a direct Sony IP. They definitely wanted that game done for both consoles, especially with it being a launch title for the PlayStation 5. It also very well could be that they just didn't want to have to backtrack and tune down all the optimizations they made for Intergrade and Yuffie's DLC in order to release it on last gen. These things aren't done at the flip of a switch. My hat goes off to anyone in the gaming industry and that does all the hard work behind the scenes. That shit ain't easy, guys. Remake Part 1 came out in April 2020, and in February 2021, recently, it was announced to have a definitive edition and DLC released for June 2021. I can't imagine they had a whole lot of time to even work on it, let alone work on both console versions. Optimizing for a more powerful console is one thing, but also debugging it to work on last gen, let alone in 60 frames per second, doesn't seem possible. All the while working on Remake Part 2, which was announced to go into full development June 2020, while Ever Crisis and apparently First Soldier is being developed as well. I know it sucks not everyone currently has a PlayStation 5, but according to Jim Ryan, the PS5 stock is set to increase month to month going forward. But as of right now, the inventory is directly tied to the fact that only 30.9% of you guys that watch and love these videos are currently subscribed. We shot up exactly 1% since the last video was made, and you guys have been putting a dent into that bar. Let's raise it up even higher and try to get to 40%. If you guys have not yet, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the channel to support the content you all love. It's completely free and comes with exclusive feed pictures of yours truly, and is a great way to support our goals for this year. Being a subscriber helps the channel out a ton and keeps you from missing our godlike live streams. We are currently playing Final Fantasy VI on Fridays, so be sure to tune in so you guys don't miss out on that. And now back to the video. And after springtime, they are working to get the inventory normalized properly. It also comes down to those retailers limiting these sales to legit people and per one person, because them bots are crazy, and Target really only recently started limiting to one customer per PS5 sale only weeks ago. Those fucking bastards. By June, I would hope that the PlayStation 5 stock issues would have been somewhat better than it is now, so I'm crossing my fingers for you guys on that one. And now, in regards to the release on PC, a lot of people have been commenting that they were hoping to see a PC release announcement for Remake Intergrade during the State of Play. And to those people, what the hell is wrong with you guys? I don't think a PC announcement would have been made, especially during a Sony event. I mean, come on guys, that's just bad business practices right there. But remember, it's only March. The timed exclusivity with PlayStation is stated to end on April 10th, 2021. Sony right now has all exclusive rights until that date, and the whole point of a console exclusive for a game is to sell consoles. So Sony, of course, is going to milk that timetable as much as they can until the very last day. I mean, they paid for it, so they might as well. I would expect Square Enix to make an announcement as early as April 13th, 2021, or a few weeks after that. The PC version for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade will be released sometime later this year. Maybe even on June 10th as well, who knows? The point is, they still have to wait till after April 10th to even talk about this game appearing anywhere else that's not a PlayStation, so expect more news about that around then, guys. But I hope this information better helps you guys understand why it's not showing up on last gen, because I would love for it to go that way for sure, but it just seems that they want to take a step forward into next gen instead of jumping backwards to last gen, because their execution there was not 100%. Remember, Cyberpunk, guys. I know the news sucks that officially it's not coming to PlayStation 4, which is alienating a lot of players, but at the same time, there are reasons for it, and ultimately for the future, this is a good decision. This aims towards the direction that Remake Part 2 will not be coming out on PS4 or last gen. Let's be honest, guys, in 2023, when Remake Part 2 comes out 2 years from now, PlayStation 5 stock would have hopefully been sustained. But at the same time, Remake Part 2 coming out on last gen would seriously hurt the capabilities the game would offer. I think the future iterations releasing on PlayStation 5 is a great move for not limiting the capabilities of what we can do in Remake Part 2 and future iterations, such as beautiful open worlds or giant zones, whatever they decide to do. That technology ultimately brings us the best experience that they could develop. So I say yes, it sucks now, but in the future, it's going to pay off extremely well and make your eyes stream tears of joy seeing a 4K 120 frames per second Tifa nailing team combos with your boy Vincent. And that wraps it up for this video, guys. When Yuffie's DLC and Intergrade drops, you guys can definitely expect me to return back to creating awesome kick-ass guides, broken builds, and amazing gameplay for you guys to enjoy. If you are new on the channel, I definitely recommend checking out our unlimited ATB build, the instant limit break build, and the infinite health build. Those seriously break the game and allows you to play in such a unique way for Remake. We had a lot of fun the past few months streaming other games and focusing on news topics, but it's going to be a blast for me personally creating some broken builds and character combo guides for Yuffie and other characters while looking amazing with that 60 frames per second gameplay at the same time. One thing too, Guilty Gear Strive is dropping next month. That will be a bigger focus for a little bit on the channel. This channel was originally a fighting game guide channel and how to get better at it, so I will be juggling that content while making sure to bring you guys that awesome Final Fantasy VII goodness that we all love. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy VII Remake videos are coming your way and you won't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ and thanks for watching.